I thought I'd start with two seasonal poems before the season goes away. So one of them is passive and one of them is active. So I'll start with the passive. It's called Some Cold Sunday Morning. Some cold Sunday morning, our dogs are in our bed. Deb is reading beside me as icy wind and crystals fly by our windows. Our flannel sheets and cashmere blanket, old quilt, and warm and fluffy throw, purchased at a powwow last fall, all make for a cozy den. Bears, I understand, don't urinate for months when hibernating. Their urea reabsorbed and processed into proteins. I have no such mechanism, or I'd stay put. Thank you. And then this one is called The Half-Froze Creek. Deep in the ravines, fresh snow is sticking to tree branches and evergreens as I break trail along the half-froze creek. Fresh fox and deer tracks tell me that I am not the first to visit the coursing creek this morning. As I glide, I listen to the crackling creek, babbling aloud in the muffled woods. As I trek, I breathe in the forest breath, inhale its scent and essence and sense. That like new thin translucent ice reaching out into the stream, I grow renewed, refreshed, redeemed as I ski along the half-froze creek. And then this is a different sort. I call it the train station. I look at the train schedule. I look at my watch. I look at the physics I brought. But after a while, I put it in my back pocket. I mean, sure, it's an interesting read, but what if but forget about the what-fors and the whys. Forget about it. Philosophy, at least it tries, but then again, they make stuff up. Everybody's got an opinion. I'm kind of glad I left philosophy in my other coat. I guess I'll take a pull on history. I always carry history in my vest pocket, like a flask. The stories warm me up. Those were efforts at trying to memorize my poems. But I thought I'd end with one. Good. Okay. This is called I Told Him, Look Everywhere. A bachelor hermit, my late uncle had lived alone in what had been my grandparents' centennial home. My son and I opened the door. A horde of decades choked the house. Clothes overgrew furniture. Newspapers grew from the floor like stalagmites, and narrow walkways wove through the heaps and piles. We unearthed barrows, releasing spirits real and imagined, and reclaimed treasures. A brash chrome revolver rested under a thin blanket. A rare dark bottle of bourbon lay stashed on the back shelf in the long, narrow kitchen pantry. Pink depression glass glowed again when raised to the light, while crystal radio searched for broadcasts from long ago. In the basement sat coal in an old coal bucket, a can of DDT, and a hand grenade from World War II, left unattended, left there still. In the attic were glass-blown Christmas ornaments from Germany and my grandparents' crossing trunk. Inside the trunk were my grandparents' passports from Austria-Hungary, along with the original deed to my grandparents' Chicago home, newly purchased for $4,000 in gold. On the kitchen table was a mound of open mail, rising like the ruin of successive civilizations. As I dug down through the papers, I went back through time on a surreal journey, disconcerting yet distant, until I came upon a picture of my brother and I when I was only 3. Related as I am, could this be my fate? To be a mound builder? To tread worn tracks between the discards of my life? I shuddered and swore an oath not to go down that path. And I returned to the search. For there was, of course, the money. Since the banks weren't safe, cash was hid throughout the house in both odd and familiar place. Bills were stuffed into pockets of old suits not worn in many years. Bills were folded into a Band-Aid tin, then hid within detergent. Bills were hid in plastic bread bags, then tucked into newspaper stacks. Bills were taped under a kitchen chair. I told my son, look everywhere.